Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another video. And today we've got some lessons that I've learned, life lessons. So this one, you don't necessarily have to be military to get something out of this, but this is more like just kind of me growing up. So some of these are military specific, but most of them are just me growing up. But I kind of wanted to get into the results of this poll. So I asked you guys, does money buy happiness? So that was based on yesterday's video. So before I made the video, I went and asked you guys on my Instagram. By the way, if you guys don't follow me over there, go follow me at Casey_Burns206, whatever. It's in my description. I don't even know what it is. I don't care about that platform that much. But this is what you guys had to say. Basically, you guys said, for the no people, you guys said, my happiness does not come from things, and you can be rich and still unhappy. So I definitely agree with that. And this is a really white and black, like obviously there was only, you could answer yes or you could answer no. You couldn't give a very nuanced opinion, but it was interesting reading some of you guys' comments and what you guys had to say of why. So this was basically why you guys said what you said. And there was many more yeses. I mean, it's kind of like I don't want to call it like a home field advantage, or the type of person that would follow me and follow a guy who posts about money every day. You're probably on the yes end. But anyways, you guys had to say money buys me things like a jet ski, which was a minority opinion. There was only a couple people that said, well, money buys me things and things make me happy. But if that's you, that's you. Money buys me time and to make myself happy. That's kind of my camp personally. Somebody said money doesn't buy you love, but money can buy you the time to go on a date. Money can buy you the time to go see your family. And somebody actually responded to me and said, so down here, I think it says money can buy time or something like that. And basically, I responded to them. I said, well, your employer buys your time every single day, right? That's how you buy time, right? If you go to a masseuse, you're buying their time. If you have somebody come clean your house, you're buying their time, right? So money buys time. And in my view, money is time, right? It's our representation as human beings of our own time, right? Our own time on this earth. So the more you have, the more time you have, you are obligated from other people, right? It's a quid pro quo. All right, number 3, my material problems can be solved by money, bills, babysitting, quitting job, food, etc. And money doesn't make you happy, but a lack of money can make you unhappy. So you can imagine a situation like, I don't know, your daughter, your son needs some type of a surgery or something, and you can't pay for it, right? That would make you unhappy. Versus like the surgery doesn't necessarily make you happy, or maybe the yacht, the nice house doesn't necessarily make you deep down happy. But seeing someone go that could have been prevented if you had the money, that would make you sad. So anyways, getting into the meat of the video, I got some notes for you guys as always. And number 1, this is things that I learned in the military and from interacting with military people. So people will pretend like they don't want something, and if they don't think they can get it. So I think this ties back into the yesterday's video about money doesn't buy happiness. So a lot of people that said no, they had a more nuanced opinion, but I think that some people that said no, they just don't think that it's worth the effort, or they don't think that they don't see the path to getting down to here, to this, 625, this 400. So sometimes what people will do is they will rationalize. They will say, well, those people aren't actually happy. I wouldn't be happy as one of those people, because they don't see the path, or they don't think that they can get to that point, or they don't want to do the work that they think it takes to get to that point. But when you sit someone down and explain to them what it actually takes to get to that point, and if they now perceive it as easy, and then they suddenly change their mind to say, oh, well, actually, I do want that, then it's indicative, right? It says that they did want it in the first place, right? So that's number 1. People will pretend they don't want something if they think that they can't get it, okay? Number 2, stay away from negative people that complain every day. So one thing that's really common on military bases, maybe just workplaces in general, you ask someone how they're doing, they say, okay, or they say, living the dream, right? So we hear living the dream a lot on the military bases, but people like that, they can be funny, they can look cheery, they can be upbeat, they can make you laugh, but they are draining your mental resources. They are draining your energy, right? So I love those people out there. I mean, they're funny people, but you kind of have to stay away from that. That's that negativity, that down in the dumps attitude, that just negativity. it's something to stay away from, right? It brings you down. It makes you a worse version of yourself. So, or try to bring them up, right? If they're down, try to bring them up, all right, to where you're at. Okay. Number 3, how to spot fake people. So I got 3 things on here: how they treat others, how they treat the waiter, and gossip. So how they treat others / how they treat the waiter. If you meet somebody, you got to pay attention to not only how they're treating you, because they may have ulterior motives with you, right? They might, I don't know, they might like you, they might want something from you, but how they treat other people is something definitely to pay attention to. And I know this, but it's just something that has really been solidified out here, right? So you have to pay attention to how they treat other people, because if that ulterior motive goes away, they might start treating you like that, and then you'll see that was a fake person. So anyways, that I'm not going to get too deep into that. Gossip, that's kind of ties into the last one. Gossip, if people are talking about other people behind their back, you can pretty much bet that when they're behind your back, they're talking about you. So number 4, fixed mindset of a salary. So I had someone come up to me and they said, my husband will not let me get out. And I said right there, optimism versus pessimism. So basically, I just wanted to show the fixed mindset of a salary. So right now, you can go in, and you guys can go into this. This is military.defense.gov. You can go in and you could figure out exactly what I get paid. So I'm in O2. I've been in for 9 years, but let's just go with 8 because I'm not in for 10 yet. Single, living in this zip code over in Federal Way. And if you calculate that, you can figure out how much I make, right? So let's calculate. All right, so 109, all right? 109 is what you make if you have that much. So the question that I had was, I see a lot of people that are willing to go to 2, 3, 4 years of school just so that they can make it to be 1 rank higher within the military. So let's see what happens if I make myself 1 rank higher, and let's say that I went to school for 2 years, so I'm going from 8 years to 10 years. So we're going 8 years to 10 years. Let's calculate. We're at 109.2, and then we go to 132.5. So if you were to take that 2 years of your life and pour it into this school or into this whatever it is, you'll get an extra $23,000 onto your salary. So that's nothing to shake your fist at or whatever, but I do know people that are on Instagram or that are on YouTube that get paid that for a video, for a post, right? I know somebody who, last time I saw them, they were getting paid $8,000 to post a company on their story, right? And that took them all but 1 minute, right? So I think it's just a fixed mindset that the salary has on you, right? So people are willing to spend 2 years to make something that somebody else can make in 5 minutes, right? So it's just a completely different earning, it's a different earning mindset, right? The salary, it has, Robert Kiyosaki talks about it all the time, the effect of a salary that a salary can have on you and your mindset. So you start to think very fixed. You start to let people put a number on your value rather than you putting that number on your value, and understanding that there is no limit on that value that you can demand, essentially. So, all right, number 5, it is better to be a hard worker than it is to be smart. So I've seen this over and over. I wouldn't consider myself a very intelligent guy. I'm not like, I don't know, some type of genius running around. But if you just stick to something, you'll eventually see success at it. I've seen a lot of success out here in my military career. And I'm definitely not the smartest lieutenant running around here, but I'm the one who's always running around here. So I've seen some success because of that. All right, number 6, perfection is the enemy of good enough. And a writer on that one, number 7, someone has to be in charge / responsible. So stories on that. Basically, we are out here, we're planning operations, and there's a bunch of little things that you can change. Like what if we stayed in this hotel instead of this hotel? What if we did this instead of that? Some things, there's certain decisions that you can make and little changes that you can make that don't actually make that big of a difference, but they can make a huge difference in terms of the time that you have to actually make your operation happen. So certain things just don't matter that much, and you just kind of have to make that decision, right? And that goes with life as well. Certain decisions don't actually matter that much. So you have to just make sure you prioritize your time well there. So number 7, somebody has to be in charge / responsible. So if you're in an organization, somebody has to be in charge / responsible for anything, or else it just won't happen, because whose feet do you hold to the fire if X doesn't happen? Somebody has to be responsible for that, or else nobody's going to do it, and nobody's going to be held responsible except for the leadership. Now you've got your leadership resentful of your subordinates because things aren't happening and they're being held responsible. So leadership is always the ones that get held responsible, but from a delegation standpoint, somebody has to be held responsible. Number 8 and number 9, I want to tie these together. Do not use the word should. Okay, so making sure that things are facts rather than assumptions, and making excuses is a waste of everyone's time. So I'm talking about briefs that I've had with our commander out here. So the word should is a big no-no in the military. Like, oh yeah, we're going to go out there and then we should have security, or we should be safe, or this should happen. You have to make sure that what is planned is going to happen for a fact. This is more of a military specific thing and more of a like how to brief your commander specific thing. Do not say that something should happen. Say that something is going to happen and then ensure that it does happen. Okay, so that, like I said, that goes for life as well. And making excuses is a waste of everyone's time. So it really doesn't matter why something isn't happening. What matters is what the intent is of the commander and whether or not that's going to happen and what you're going to do to make sure that it happens. So I've seen people come in and not make excuses, and I've seen people come in and make excuses. And I promise you, the excuses person got a lot worse of a tongue lashing from the commander because they don't want to hear excuses. They want to hear how their intent is going to be carried out. And they want to hear when it's going to be carried out. Not, this is why it's not, this is why this person did that. All these excuses, right? It goes back to that concept of extreme ownership that Jocko Willink always talks about. Great book. If you haven't read it, make sure you do, even if you're not in the military. All right, number 10 over here. We've got it pretty good in the United States. So I'm going to do a little Zillow walk of, we're going to cut to Zillow, and I'm going to walk down the different streets that I've seen. United States, where I live, versus down here in Honduras. All right, so we see, this is La Ceiba. It's an area that we went to for an operation down in Honduras. Like, you see, it's a nice tropical area, but there's a clear difference in economic status, right? So we see the boats, we see a lot of hand-me-downs. This is actually pretty nice. I think this is Hotel La Quinta. We got Banco La Fice right there. But just, we see that it looks a lot different than the United States. So there's not a lot of, like, in the States you can walk around the streets, but this is generally what most of Honduras looks like, right? So definitely not a bad place. I love the people out here, but it's just it's a very different, that's actually pretty nice. It's just a different place economically. Some nice ruins up there. We did not get to go see those, but our surgical team did get to go see them. A little jealous there, but anyways, we just see the sights and sounds of Honduras. It's just a very different place compared to the United States. So after this, we're going to check out Bellevue, okay? So it's just a different feel, right? So this is back where I'm from, Bellevue, Washington, right? This is a neighborhood in the Seattle area. This is where a lot of the big tech giants live. You see skyscrapers. You see this dude. I mean, this guy, nice shiny head, whatever. But it's just a very different feel, right? Let's go over here. We see the big Macy's over here. Bunch of nice new cars rolling around. It's just a very different feel in terms of, economic opportunity and things like that. And on this channel, I always say, like, I've basically said things along the lines of being poor in America after you're 18, right? After you actually have an opportunity to, go explore your own career and go decide where you're going to live and go do all of these other things, make these other choices. It's much more of a choice in somewhere like this than it is back in La Ceiba, like where we just looked at, right? There's not as much opportunity there. A lot of what you see out there when we're driving around the streets is people selling fruit on the streets. You see food stands. You see basically people selling food out of a truck, things of that nature, right? It's kind of almost a more barter system in some circles, right? So not everybody down in Honduras is not doing well for themselves, but it's clearly much easier to do well for yourself in an environment like this than it is down in, say, La Ceiba or in Comayagua or some place like that, right? There's just more opportunity in a city like this. So anyways, we'll move on from that point, and I don't want that to be taken as like American exceptionalism or something like that, but I just think that there's a clear, people don't understand until they actually leave the country and go see a different country how much opportunity they truly have in the United States. So anyways, that's that. Number 11, what would a crazy person do? So I've been asking myself this question very often really. So basically what sparked it was, sometimes people, if you're doing well at something, people will be like, don't worry about him, like he's crazy. But really ask yourself that question. What would a crazy person do? It's 6 o'clock. What would a crazy person do? Well, they would probably go for a run. They would, get in a video. They would do this and that. Ask yourself that question. What would somebody who's trying to do what I'm trying to do, but they're just a little bit crazy, what would they do? All right. And then do that. And then the last one is hard work still works. So anyways, hopefully you guys liked this video and got some value out of it, whether you are in the military or not. And as always, there's always the links down in the description if you guys want to get some free money for yourself, help support the channel. And definitely make sure you guys share this video. That is one way that the channel grows, is all the shares, all the likes, all the subscriptions, and the comments. So I'll see you guys in the next video.